Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening and watching the Italian American Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Vince Chiarelli, and today we have the great singer and entertainer Daniela Crocco with us. Daniela is a member of the Chicago group The Jersey Girls and has performed throughout the United States at all types of venues and Italian festivals. So, welcome, Daniela. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good to see you, and thanks for coming on this morning. And it'll be fun to talk to you here a little bit.
I know.
So, how I usually start this before we start getting into your music business and all that is since it's about Italian Americans, where you trace your ancestry from in Italy, and also where you're located now.
Okay, so obviously, yes, I'm Italian. My mom was born in Italy. She was born in Bari, so
Okay.
that's obviously where her parents. So they all grew up in Bari, a little town called Valenzano. My mom, she moved to America, obviously when they were young, and I can't remember originally where they moved to, but obviously in terms of school, they ended up in Schiller Park, which is where I'm living right now.
Okay.
They went to East Lyden High School, and then afterwards she moved back to Italy for a little bit before she came back to America again. And my dad, he's Italian and also German. His dad is Sicilian, but he was Chicago born and raised. He grew up in Ravenswood, so he's more of a Chicago Italian type of guy.
Gotcha. Well, very cool. And my mom was actually born in Italy too. So, immigrated. She was, I think, 9 when she came here, so they were young. But
Yeah, very young. Yeah.
So you're a singer. So when did you start performing? When did you get the music bug?
At a pretty young age. I mean, let's see. It obviously started for me in the church choir. That's kind of when I developed some sort of a talent where people are like, oh, your daughter, she has something there. And then it started into getting into musical theater. And then after that, voice lessons to where I'm just always, it really started in musical theater. It wasn't mostly singing Italian music, just doing shows, singing, dancing, acting. And then, so that I would say middle school is really where it all started.
That's how it started for me actually too.
So.
Was theater.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine me doing it now anymore, that stuff. But I started with Peter Pan.
Honestly. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Mine was Narnia.
Oh, Narnia, nice.
So random, but no. The first musical I ever did was Narnia.
Very nice. Yeah, mine was Peter Pan, and I was Michael.
Yeah.
Who were you in Narnia?
Okay. I was they called them the Cruellies, what the white witches, little monster people or helpers.
Gotcha.
I don't know what you would consider from the movie.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was fun.
So when did you start actually performing out? I think you started solo, correct? Doing some Italian stuff and some festivals. That's how we met. Probably 3 years ago now, at that festival in Indiana.
I know.
So, and I know that was the first time I had heard about you, and you got a great voice, and we were, taken back by you do a great job, good for performer. So was that kind of the year when you really started performing out, or when did you start doing the Italian stuff?
I guess mostly on my own. Yeah, I would say so. Maybe that year where I really started to get out there more. But actually, so we lived in Kentucky for 10 years. And when we moved back to Chicago, I was a junior in high school. And by my senior year, so as a family, we would always go to they have St. Rocco Christmas dinners or picnics.
Right.
And there was this DJ who's always there. And honestly, I can't remember how it came about me going up to sing. I really can't remember, but I did. And obviously people are like, oh my gosh, she's so good. And then after that, I was kind of connected with this other gentleman who was from Italy. I mean, he didn't even speak English. So we ended up singing together. And that's kind of how I started getting into the world of Chicago, like doing the festivals was through him because they would hire him. And then I was kind of his special guest at the time. And then when we kind of broke off, that's when, because I obviously started meeting people along the way.
Right.
And yeah, I really started to just do my own shows, trying to, pretty much what you saw.
Yeah. No, that's
is what I
cool.
was starting to do.
Well, that's cool. I've seen, over the years, kind of watching you. We've run into each other at festivals, and then, seeing what you're doing online now with the Jersey Girls. I've seen a cool transformation you've been doing. So you've been doing a good job. So why don't you let our listeners know a little bit about the Jersey Girls and what that group's all about?
Jersey Girls. So, okay, we're our Frankie Valli tribute band. We do pretty much everything. We do all the party music. We start with Jersey Boys, and then it always just breaks into a dance party with all the classes of the disco era. We try to incorporate it all. I really, honestly, that group is like a blessing, just because just the friendships we created. We were very close with each other. And at the time, when I found out that they were kind of looking for a new member, obviously I made an effort and took the initiative to really go out and show them what I can do. Because for me, like, I'm young and I'm trying to get my foot in the door. So I was like, oh my gosh, so perfect. Experience with consistent gigging, getting my name out there. And then it grew into this. So it's amazing what that group transformed into. Like, they work very hard, and it's really impressive. So
that's cool. So do you remember when you had your very first big, performance where you were on a big stage and how you felt and all that?
Let me think. You know what? This is so random, but the first time, I was young. I was in 8th grade. I can't remember if I was in 8th grade or if I was a freshman in high school. I won a national anthem singing contest for this theater festival in Atlanta at the time when we all went there for the workshops. And it was one of those things. I remember I was in a sweatshirt, just got out of the shower. And it was one of those things where my mom was like, Daniela, we got to do this. We got to record it. And obviously, because I was procrastinating, I was so young and whatever. I go upstairs in my aunt and uncle's bathroom, and she records me singing the national anthem. Didn't think anything. And then a month later, I get an email, you won the national anthem contest.
Oh, wow.
So what that meant was I kicked off the festival. I sang in front of over 3,000 people. It was really my first time ever performing in front of, a crowd like that. So for me, oh my God, I was so nervous, but I don't know. It was the first time where I really felt like, wow, I actually won this, and people loved my voice this much where I could do something like this, especially at an age like that. That was the one moment that always sticks out in my mind.
That's cool.
Obviously doing shows all the time now. It's just a different feeling, but that really was one moment where that was just a great memory.
That's so strange, because I have a very similar story. That's very ironic. But when I was, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12, I was living in Florida. Yeah. So I lived in Florida for a while, and it was the same thing. It was like a middle school, talent contest for the national anthem.
Right.
And I got chosen for our school, and I had to play at we lived in the Orlando area. We had to play downtown Orlando with the symphony orchestra, in this big, huge theater. And I remember going out there and trying to sing it. But if you've, I don't know how you performed it when you did it, but this was with the full piece orchestra, and there was no earpiece.
Oh wow, no, I did it a cappella.
Yeah, this was no earpiece or no monitors on this giant stage with me standing next to the orchestra, and I couldn't hear. They were so loud, I couldn't hear myself, and it was I don't know how I went through it, but I haven't even thought of that until you brought up the national anthem thing.
Right.
That's crazy. But so I always like asking this to singers, because I'm a singer as well. But do you still get nervous after all these years performing? Do you?
Oh my God, all the time. And it's funny, after singing with the girls, they become your security blankets because, you're not the only one singing. So it's not all the pressure on you, and we vibe off of each other's energy. And now when I go back to having to sing by myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to sing 3 hours by myself. What do I sing? Like, that's mostly where my nerves come from, because it's like trying to fill the time. It's like, you know what? Everyone's just going to enjoy what I have to sing because this is 3 hours that I'm filling time for. And I know I do get nervous, but once it starts, it goes away. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing with me.
That's like where I feel comfortable. It's always just the before. It's like, oh my God, like I can't even eat before. Like, it's ridiculous. But no, it's once I start, it's all gone.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah, playing with the band and you with the girls, it is a security thing, because people ask me all the time, just play solo or just pick up your guitar and do it by yourself, and it's just like I'd rather have the guys. I don't know. It's like it's strange. I get more nervous if I have to do it by myself. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But
what I found it's more fun when there's other people involved. Because it's just a different energy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is. So, growing up, being Italian American, did you have like a big Italian American musical influence?
Kind of. So for me, it's different because I felt like a lot of the Italian songs that I was learning, it was more of like situations I was in, like, oh, you need to learn this song. And then I would learn the song and then I would sing it so well. And then I'm discovering, wow, like people actually enjoy and love when I'm singing more of the Italian styles versus just like regular American songs.
Right.
It's interesting because when I fell in love with more of the classic Italian songs, they're not really old singers, but Elvolo, I was in love with Elvolo. And then whenever I heard them, that's really when I discovered the old classic Italian songs. Because obviously at a young age, I wasn't really into it for fun unless my family's playing it.
Right.
But Elvolo, I fell in love with how they sang it. And then I would incorporate their songs and like the styles of how they were performing it into my shows. And that's kind of when I started developing this Italian American song cycle during my shows, I guess. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if you remember. I think I'm just a little bit older than you, but when Elvolo actually started, when they were like middle schoolers, I remember
they were on the
there was
Italian
like this
show.
Yeah, there was like this TV show, and I remember like all my old Italian aunts. I was probably in college at the time or high school or something, and they were like, we have to get this CD from Italy because there's these kids, and like I had to order it for them online because I didn't know how to do it, and then I got this CD and it was all these little kids, and I had to burn the CD for like every Italian woman in my family, but then they exploded, and it's just like, that's crazy. Like they even looked totally different when when they were little kids. But
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize they started that young, like in that show. A lot of people don't realize that, but they've come a long way. It's cool.
I actually ended up auditioning for the show.
Oh, did you?
It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those. Obviously, like my nonna and my mom, like, oh, you have to try. You just send a video, and I literally remember to this day. I was in Texas by my family. We go to a friend of theirs because he was a musician as well. So he knew what he was doing. I'm standing in a shower because the acoustics were great.
Right.
And I think I sang a Celine Dion song. I don't remember what Celine Dion song it was. No, it was like maybe Adele or Celine Dion. But I sent it out. And I don't remember what happened. I think they actually said that I was going to be considered for it, but because I was in America,
right,
like whatever the grand prize was, it conflicted with that, so I don't know, but I did try to audition.
That's cool. Well, I don't even remember what that show was called. Like, what was it, T-La show? Ti lascio una canzone, I think
Yeah.
that is that yeah.
Yep.
I don't even know if
That's
it's
it.
around anymore, but that's crazy. But anyways, so you've played around the country. You've played at some cool Italian festivals. Is there one a
Yeah.
favorite venue, one or two like favorite spots that really stick out to you that you like performing at?
For the festivals or just venues?
Venue or festival?
Anything?
Yeah.
Um, Taylor Street. I love Taylor Street.
Yeah.
Taylor
That's
Street
fun.
Fest is probably. Yeah, and it's interesting because I notice every time that I've performed in Taylor Street, I've gotten the most recognition just in terms of anytime I've promoted my website or just my name. Every year I have gotten email requests and just people reaching out to me. It's only at Taylor Street though. I don't
Hmm.
know. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun festival. It's I
It is.
remember I think we played the same year as you because I remember we were done and I was walking and you were like playing
Yeah.
by like a fountain or something. Is that right? There was like a
Yep.
fountain. Yeah,
Sure.
I remember you singing there. Yeah, you did a good job there. Yeah, no,
Thank you.
Taylor Street's fun. It's old school
For
vibe.
for us, it became like a tradition because I've been performing in Taylor Street Fest now for like 4 or 5 years. Because even before like when Star Events was doing it,
Hmm.
that's when I had started. And we have a family member that lives in Taylor Street, so it became a thing where my family would come, and then after I was done singing, we would go over to my aunt's house or cousins, and we would have like a potluck, and then go back to the festival.
Oh, that's cool.
So it kind of became a tradition
The
where
only
they
thing
all like.
the only thing we hate, not hate, but dislike about going to that festival is because we're from Rockford and we're not used to
Oh,
Chicago all the time, is it takes us like
oh
an
yeah.
hour to find a place to park.
Oh
It's
my God.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It really is. Well, that's another thing because I'm very lucky. I get a parking sticker from our cousin, and I go park
There
on the
you go.
street somewhere. So that's also why I like it. It's not as hectic for me, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, we love the festival, but that one, man, every time, and we're so not used to it. Out here in Rockford's a different world with the
I
traffic and everything. It's just like as soon as we get there,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my gosh, we can't we can't handle it. But so after a few, good years in the music industry, I mean, I know 2020 kind of killed everything for
I
now, but what do you love so far about your career as a singer?
Just within the pandemic,
No,
or
just in
just
general.
right.
Like, what do you love most about the career of being a singer?
Um, I honestly, I just love the performance aspect of it. I love how every show is different, and when people react to your singing, I mean, that's the best feeling when you can touch somebody just by a song or like your voice, and you just making people cry. Or the amount of times I've done a show and I've sang a particular song, and people come up to me afterwards. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that today, or just the sound of your voice just moved me, or it's such a satisfying feeling. That's
Yeah.
really what I love about it.
Yeah, no, it
Really.
is. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
like that too. It's I'll never forget. It was a couple years ago. We play. I can't even think of the name of the song. It's a song by Dusty Springfield did it, but it's actually Italian. And
Okay.
we were singing it, and this lady just started bawling. I never met this lady in my life, and she was just like, "That
Yeah.
was me and my husband's like song, and he just died like 2 months ago." I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is just like." But when things like
I
happen like
know.
that, it's just like,
I'm
wow, it's crazy when things like that
Wow.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so with you being Italian American, we're both young. We're in the Italian American circuit and doing all this music stuff. What do you have a good hope for Italian American entertainment in general, like for the future, or what are your views of like others like us continuing this Italian American traditions and cultures, especially in the music world?
Oh, I think it'll always be popular and alive. I don't think it's ever going to die down personally, especially depending on where you're living. Obviously,
Right,
here, I mean, there's so many Italians in this community,
right,
and it's just music that makes you feel good. That just never really, like when you listen to it, you're never like, oh, I'm so annoyed and tired of hearing that song. Like I never feel that way.
right.
Um, I know for me, that's really because that's how I got started. There's all these different Italian organizations that are always having events because that's just how you keep the culture alive. So I really don't think that's ever going to stop. At least I hope it doesn't.
Right.
So
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm getting, there's with people like you and, there's a lot of other young people that are continuing this and it's good. And even though, a lot of us don't do, even though like I speak Italian, I'm sure you do, and we can do the authentic thing. Just
actually,
Oh, you don't? It's
yeah.
all right. I can't speak it
No.
fluently. I can't speak it fluently, but I
Well,
can.
I say it down. That's all that matters.
Yeah, no, me too. It's I can understand like if someone like in my family speaking to me, I can like understand it fluently, but when I like try to speak it, like sometimes I get like all I don't know, jumbled up.
Yeah.
It's cuz I speak Spanish too,
Yeah.
and the Spanish and the Italian are so similar
Okay.
that I get confused sometimes, and it's but
Get it.
but I don't even know where I was going with this, but with the continuing of the culture, I think I do think there's as long as the food aspect is around, the Italian food and
Oh
the,
yeah.
with things like Taylor Street, even if you're not Italian, people still like to feel Italian and the music. I'm doing like a,
Right.
I'm doing a Zoom thing with the symphony orchestra out here in Rockford in a couple weeks about,
Oh wow.
they asked me to do like a speaking thing about Italian music, and kind of what I'm going to show is
Yeah.
how Italian music, even like the operatic stuff and classical Italian music, is still
Mhm.
today ingrained into pop music, and people don't realize that. And I
It,
think
it
because
is.
of that, I was just watching. What were we watching last night? Oh, we were watching that new the DC comic. What's her name? The girl that I can't. Harley Quinn. The new Harley Quinn movie that came
Oh
out a year or
yeah.
two ago. But I was watching that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
like they did Sway like in a different version. Like they did like a techno
You know,
Sway thing.
I watched that movie, but I
It
can't
was
I
it
can't
was
really
like
remember.
it's very quick. They're like walking down the street, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's Sway. But as long as things like that keep happening, with the
Oh
whole,
yeah.
even a few years ago when they did Tuvo Fall Americano was like a huge hit. They
Yep.
turned it into like a so there's all that's going to keep going. But I'm going to be talking about with the orchestra, O Sole Mio and Torna a Sorrento, how
Mhm. Yeah.
Elvis specifically, It's Now or Never, and he did Surrender as the other version. But as long as that keeps
Mhm.
going, Italian music should still stay strong, I guess. So,
No, exactly.
before we get
Yeah.
to the end here, what do you have to say about anything coming up? I know it's tough with the pandemic, but do you solo or with the Jersey Girls have anything coming up? Virtually? Do you have virtual shows in person, or do you have like any new?
So,
Do you have any CDs or anything people could buy?
no, at least not yet, but
Okay.
I have been solo wise once a month. I've been performing at Donnie G's in Elmwood Park.
Okay.
I'll be there again February 26th.
Okay.
Um, in the Jersey Girls, I believe we're performing, I think, Villaggio and Roselle in March. Don't remember the exact date. But other than that, for the Jersey Girls, we have more like private events coming up, but public, I think Villaggio in March.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's tough right now.
other
I
than
mean,
that, that's pretty much it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see. Things are gradually. So we're both in Illinois, so they're gradually
I
starting
know.
to come back.
I
But
will
yeah,
say we've been getting more calls for like summer and like after summer, which is, I mean, it's great. So I
yeah,
mean, I'm not gonna complain. Whatever comes our way is great.
yeah.
So I just
I'm
hope yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not getting
Go
my
ahead.
hopes up because who the heck knows what's gonna happen?
I know.
Yeah, I'm not getting too excited
Right.
about summer or fall either yet because I don't want to get my hopes up and then all of a
I
sudden
know
it's a shutdown or something again. But is there?
exactly. I
So
was
I'll
just say
yeah,
with the festivals, who knows? But
exactly. So
hopefully,
how can
there.
people find out more about you? I'm sure you got a website. I can include a link on here, and then
Yeah.
I can include a link to the Jersey
Um,
Girls website too.
Definitely. So my website is just danielacrocco.com. And for Jersey Girls, it's jerseygirlslive.com.
Okay.
And we also have Facebook and Instagram.
Very cool. Well, I'll put
Daniela Crocco. Yeah.
well, I'll put links to that on this. And once again, I really appreciate you coming on. Really enjoy what you do and keeping the Italian American music and culture alive. And
Thank
hopefully,
you.
maybe this year, maybe next, if Taylor Street or all these festivals happen again, maybe we'll be able to see each other in person again, run into each other.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm
But
for.
yeah, well, thank you once again, and thank you everybody for listening and watching the Italian American Entertainment Podcast. And we'll see each other next time. Thanks. Bye bye.